Welcome to Big Blend Radio's California Sequoia Country show, home to Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, Giant Sequoia National Monument and Sequoia National Forest, and the charming historic agricultural communities that make up Tulare County. So welcome everyone. It is time to get ready for summer fun in California Sequoia Country. We're talking about Tulare County, which is home to a number of wonderful communities, definitely agricultural, historic, and a lot of art. So we're going to talk about the destinations, the towns, and some of their events coming up, but also, of course, Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, home to those majestic mountains in the Sierra Nevadas. Well, the Sierra Nevada mountains, I should say. There's a whole thing going on about that. But also, we're going to be talking about those giant trees and what you can do in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, because as I know, a lot of the roads are opening up. There's a lot more activities opening up because the weather gets a little bit warmer. So first off, let's bring Suzanne Bianco back on the show. She is from Visit Visalia. So welcome back, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having us again. Looking forward to talking today.
Good to have you on the show. And I should tell everyone, this is our show that we do every first Thursday with the Sequoia Tourism Council. You can go to discoverthesequoias.com for all the town information, the park information. And if you want to know specifically about Visalia, go to visitvisalia.com. We also have Holly Strite back on the show. She is with the Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. You can go to nps.gov/SEKI. Very important website because weather can change. Even last month, we were talking about spring flowers and all this fun stuff. And we said, yes, well, spring can bring snow. You never know. And I think you had that happen, right, Holly?
We did, yeah, we had a snowstorm over the weekend.
Well, that was good, though, right? The park needs it.
That's right.
So,
We're very happy for it.
oh, that's awesome. Also, Daniel Hecker is back on the show, and he's with Sequoia Parks Conservancy, and you can go to sequoiaparksconservancy.org, and they do wonderful activities in the parks and also some fabulous events, and I believe even part of the Dark Sky event that comes up in the fall, right, Daniel? Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah, so is it the Dark Sky? You do the big Dark Sky event that happens in September?
Yeah, we're a co-host with the Park Service every September. It's going to be September 11th, 12th, and 13th. We have our Dark Sky Festival, brings in thousands of folks. We have featured speakers that talk about the wonder of beautiful night sky, all the science that's going on, all the information around the moon that's happening right now with our Artemis journeys, NASA, Caltech, a lot of interesting folks, and most importantly, that dark sky and all the stars up there.
See, that's it. You got to enjoy the parks during the day and in the evening. I want to also bring William Valero on the show. I know he's got limited time, so we're going to get him to give us a scoop on what's happening at an upcoming rodeo. So welcome to the show, William. How are you?
Good. Good morning, and happy to be here. And I'll be headed up to Sequoia Park today.
All right, all right. Well, are we all a little jealous? You know, you get to go hang out with Holly.
Go up there. I get to go up there several times a day usually.
All right. Are you part of the shuttle?
No,
I mean, we feel like
A
we could
type
all
of
have a
shuttle.
ride with you.
my family owns a towing company, Valero Brothers Towing, and we do a lot
Oh,
of service up in the park.
well, that's great to know. That's great.
Yeah.
How do people reach you when they're in the park? Do they go to the visitor center and say, help, you need to call?
A lot of times it's going to the visitor center, going to the Giant Fortress Museum or Lodgepole Museum. Yeah.
This is great to know. This is great to know. Now, do you help people when they sit there and go, what do we do with those the chains that we put on tires if there's those once in a blue moon snows that can happen?
That happens often. They put them on wrong and it'll snap a brake line or something and then they have no brakes. So then they call
Oh,
us. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's important to watch those videos on the park website about how to put your chains on, right?
Yes.
Yes. They're just really good security bracelets, for the car, so that's great stuff. Now, William, where is this rodeo and where does it take place? Or is this all part of the Lions Club?
Yeah, so I'm here today representing the Woodlake Lions Club. I'm the current president. This year, Mother's Day weekend, May 9th and 10th, we're going to be celebrating our 71st rodeo. It takes place just outside of Woodlake in the city of Elderwood, about 5 miles north of Woodlake.
Okay. So 5 miles north of Woodlake. That is a beautiful area. And also can we tell people they could go to the garden while they're there?
That's a great place to go, especially this time of year. And if you go to the city website, I believe we've got our garden harvest coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, in May, there's the
berry
berries where
picking.
everybody
The berry festival,
berry
yes.
picking and berry tasting. I saw that on Facebook. So Everyone, if you just go to Facebook and look at Woodlake Botanical Garden, you'll get hungry when you look at that. It's a great garden to go to. So, isn't this rodeo? Hasn't this been like just a annual event that has been going on for like a very long time?
Yeah, so like I said, it's our 71st year, and this is kind of the highlight of the city of Woodlake. It brings people together from all the neighboring cities, and it kind of turns into a reunion. It's a really fun time. Yeah, it's just a fun weekend, and
Awesome.
we put on a great rodeo.
That's cool. So, what are some of the activities people should know? Because this is something that really shows the ranching history of the region. Because some of that, I'll go to Holly on this in a little second, but the ranching history goes all the way up into the national park before it was a park, I think. I don't know. Holly can tell me, but there's a famous cattle man up there that has his own log in the park. And he makes, he's famous when people go to the park. But
Tharp
this
Park.
kind of
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's Tharp's log. You got to go. But this really ties something to what Tulare County is about with agriculture, but also the ranching. So is some of that history shared and interpreted through the different activities and events?
It is. Uh, a little bit about our weekend. So our rodeo weekend kicks off on Friday. So Friday morning we have our High Five Rodeo, which is a rodeo for young children and young adults who have learning disabilities. We started that program back in 2019. It just gives them the opportunity to have the rodeo or ranch lifestyle experience, teach them how to rope. They get to ride horses. We have a small petting zoo set up. And for myself, that's kind of the highlight of the weekend because I started that program and it's blossomed into about 120 kids for that
Oh,
one
wow.
day. So it's controlled chaos, but it's fun, and to see the smiles on those kids' faces, it just brings joy to my heart. Saturday morning, we kick off with our rodeo parade downtown Woodlake. That'll start about 11 o'clock this year. We usually have about 85 entries. It'll last about an hour, like any other parade. Kids throwing candy and bands coming through, and a lot of horses showing horsemanship. And after that, our rodeo starts up in Elderwood. Gates open at 3. Something that we're going to add this year is breakaway roping. It's a ladies' event, and it's become very popular.
Mm,
Um,
huh.
and after that, we have our after party where everybody goes and experiences just a fun dance time.
So live music. I'm assuming there's good food.
Yes. So we have people that come to our rodeo just for the barbecue. They go up to the barbecue barn and they'll sit there all day and just eat.
So is it like country music or country
Yeah,
western style
it,
music?
it's country western. I can't think of the band's name right now, but
Okay.
it's a very popular band.
But what's the place where people can go get all the information for the
Yeah.
rodeo?
So they can go to our website, woodlakelionsrodeo.com.
Okay.
Also, the city of Woodlake is very helpful in sharing our stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll put the links in the episode notes for everyone. We always have that. It's easier for everyone to just go click on something. So we've got live music, we've got barbecue, we've got horses, we've got kids, we've got a parade with candy, you said.
Yes.
Okay, because make sure it's there because, people will be disappointed if there's no candy when they get there. And of course, and you also, I was going to say, when people go to Woodlake, I know you've got good barbecue, but you also have great taco shops in Woodlake, as I recall.
Great tacos and also the Woodlake Drive-In. Everybody seems to love the Woodlake Drive-In.
Wait a minute. Stop everything. You have a drive-in?
Yeah, a hamburger stand.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought you meant
Yeah.
like a movie drive-in. I'm like, who
No,
has
no, no.
these anymore?
I
But
wish.
yeah, a hamburger stand. That's good enough too, man. I'll
Yeah.
take that. Yeah, very cool. So tell everyone the dates again.
Yeah, this is May 9th and 10th. Our High Five program is Friday, May the 8th.
Okay, so everyone, make sure you go check that out if you're in the Sequoias or there locally. So thank you so much for joining us, William, and I hope everyone has a safe day on the roads.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Take good care.
You too.
All right. So rodeos. Okay. We mentioned Tharp's Log. Holly, do you want to tell everybody about Tharp's Log? Because is that before it was a park that he was up there or?
Yeah. Yeah. So Tharp lived in the park before it was a park and he grazed his animals in the park. So there's right there next to Crescent Meadow is kind of where you find Tharp's Log is along that loop between Congress Trail and Crescent Meadow. And it's very cool to see. It's a giant sequoia that's basically hollowed out and you can see a little bench, And he had a little stove that he built. So it's very cool. You can kind of peek your head in there and learn more about the history on an interpretive sign.
And you can get there also. Isn't that where the tunnel log is, where people can drive their car through a tree?
When you're on your way to Crescent Meadow, yep, then you can go drive through Tunnel Log to go to the Crescent Meadow parking area.
That's kind of like an obligatory thing that people need to do. It's kind of like and it gives people a perspective of the trees because they're so tall, so wide, but when they're so tall, it's really hard to understand how big they are. How
Yeah.
big is a general, like not the, well, you've got the general Sherman, right? You
Yeah.
got General Grant tree as well,
Yeah.
but what is the size of a sequoia tree for people to just an average?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the average size of a sequoia tree is, but they start from little tiny oatmeal sized seeds, and the General Sherman tree is the largest tree. And General Sherman is 276 feet tall. And I want to say about 40 feet wide across. So that's the largest situation. And a lot of sequoia trees grow very tall, very fast. So they reach their height really fast, so above 200 feet. And then they start growing outward. And that's what's really cool about sequoias is they keep growing outward. And that's why they can sequester so much carbon is because they keep adding that mass, which is
Oh,
very cool. Daniel might have some more great facts about sequoia trees too. I'm not sure. Daniel, do you have anything you want
well,
to share?
yeah.
Well, I think the thing that's really interesting is figuring out that scale. Our brains picture trees in sort of normal sizes. So when we look up at a tree, there's no clue as to how really massive there are. So my favorite thing to do is to bring a little Lego figure. And then essentially a Lego figure is how tall I would be next to a giant sequoia, and I'm 6 feet tall. So it's this tiny little figure and then this massive thing above it in that sense of scale. Once you're able to see how people relate to it, it's really interesting. And you could
Wow.
also look at it in terms of 150 buses worth of volume. But there's lots of different ways to play with it.
Yeah, and then
50,000 basketballs.
yeah, I want to bring up buses and the guided tours that you do, but I have a question for you both because yesterday I had an interesting encounter with four bears. Again, I keep seeing bears, and of course now I'm not with you guys, but yeah, and yes, they got into trash. Anyway, we won't go to that, but they were right there, and I'm going to say that we really shouldn't underestimate bears. Sometimes when they're lower on the ground, you go, there was like the mom, the dad, and the two babies. And even the babies you had to watch. I mean, they broke through fences and everything. I watched the whole thing. It was quite interesting. And one stood up on his haunches. It was the male. And I went, okay, we're not a grizzly bear, but this is something to think of going out and the respect for animals and bears and what to do when you do come across one because you could, and I know people go to Sequoia and Kings Canyon with that as their top wish list is to see a bear. And I just thought, since everybody's waking up now and going out, I thought we better do something about bear behavior and human behavior and how to coexist. So, Holly, do you want to give a tip? And then we'll go to Daniel on a tip there.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, like everybody has a different comfort level around bears, but one of the most important things that people can do to help everybody be safe and comfortable is to properly store their food. So the park has bear safe food storage lockers just throughout. And also, you'll see our trash cans are that way too. So sometimes we see trash outside of the trash can. And I don't know if it's because people don't know how to open it, but you have to kind of put your hand in, and there should be a little diagram, but you put your hand in and it pushes a button and then you lift up. And that's how you can get the trash in there. And if you see an overflowing trash can, don't keep adding more trash. Just take it to another one because there's many trash cans throughout the park or pack it out. But securing the food, bears in these parks really like to hang out around picnic areas, much like Yogi Bear. So, and I think, that is a learned behavior because food has been left out. So they know food is accessible there. And the more times that bears get access to food, which is a reward to bears, especially the food that we eat that's not normal for bears, then they start to have more bold behaviors in trying to get that food reward again. So really, for the safety of bears, for the safety of everybody, please, please, please store it properly in a food safe storage locker, locked away in your car where they can't see it. those are good options. And then of course the trash.
Good points. Now, Daniel, what about on those hikes? And I think that's what's great. I know there's ranger walks and talks and programs, but then also Sequoia Parks Conservancy does a lot in guided hikes. And is that something you talk about with your guest travelers going on a hike with you, especially if it's their first time? Sometimes it could be people's first time into a national park at all or into nature. So, do you have those conversations on what to do on the trail if you
Absolutely.
see
We
one?
give guided hikes that are often about 2 hours and around the different meadows. And some people come in and they are really afraid of the wildlife. And so they're concerned about bears or snakes or spiders. So we talk with them about how those are important parts of the ecosystem and that usually they're pretty afraid of you. So you just keep your distance. And then other people are really excited and they want to see a bear. And we're like, well, this isn't like Disneyland where you just can't schedule it. Often there are times whenever you can be more likely to see wildlife, and early morning and late afternoon is a really great one. We talk with everybody about how to keep your voices down and always be looking around. Bears are wonderful omnivores. They eat everything. And so certain times of the year, they're actually
They
eating
do eat everything.
yeah, grass. They eat grass though, and so that's an important part early in the season whenever there isn't a lot of berries and other kinds of food out there. So being aware of the habitats of bear, I think it just really enriches the whole experience in Sequoia and Kings Canyon.
Now, what if you do like stumble across a bear, like on the trail? Is there anything we should do? I mean, you want to keep your distance, obviously, but sometimes it's like, boo, we're right there at each other. What do we do? I mean, I know that we're supposed to not run and do things. Are people supposed to carry things with them or do anything for that kind of, especially in the wilderness too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that's really important to note is that bear spray is illegal in the national parks. And so people should not be carrying bear spray in the national parks. If they are in the wilderness, bear cans are required to store that food. And some of the wilderness locations also have food storage lockers out in the wilderness camping designated areas. But if you come across a bear when you're on a trail, usually if you're not looking to be quiet to witness the bears like Daniel was talking about, just being in a bigger group, 2 or more, talking using your voice, they're going to try to get away from you before you get to that. So they really don't want to have a up close human encounter. Most bears, as soon as they see you, hear you, they're going to kind of scurry away really quickly. But just use your voice, make some noise, but you can do some clapping, just talk to the bear, let them know that you're there. I don't know, Daniel, maybe sometimes when there are little cubs involved, that's when you want to be extra careful to make sure that maybe you can just take some slow steps away, and try to give them as much space as they need and just be aware of your surroundings. Really, food is the only reason they're trying to interact with people. So keep your food with you. Don't let them get your food, and just give them space, and they'll actually be the ones to initiate creating more space.
I like that. I like that. And I think if we get to see bears, we are incredibly lucky and we should just really savor those moments. And yeah, we always see those photos of someone getting out of their car and going, let me take my selfie with a bear or a bison or something. And
Sure.
bison are not in the Sequoia or Kings Canyon National Park, just got to say. But, and then they make headlines and then you go, well, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I want to go up over to Suzanne and Visalia because I know isn't this the season of like events and celebrations and all kinds of good stuff?
There is a lot happening in May that we kind of want to keep our eye on. The Sequoia Shuttle will start running in May, Memorial Weekend, which is exciting. Daniel probably wants to add about the Crystal Cave opening at that time as well. The city of Visalia, of course, has lots of different activities. The parks are fun to hang out in. Mooney Grove and the Mooney Grove Park Museum that's there, Tulare County Museum, is fantastic. Lots of things to see and do there.
Okay. So let's go to Crystal Cave. Daniel, you want to talk about that because Sequoia Parks Conservancy handles the tickets for that, right?
Yeah, we're the official nonprofit partner for Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park. So we're kind of like the booster club, and we focus on really supporting Sequoia and Kings Canyon in a variety of ways. And one of which is we help operate Crystal Cave tours. And Crystal Cave is there are over 270 caves in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, but this is the only one that's developed and safe and has a walkway and lighting that you can go in and visit. And it is spectacular. If you have never been in a cave, it's a really great one to see. But you can only go in and visit it when you have a ticket. And last year was our first year of reopening after COVID. And so we actually sold out every single day of the year last year. So we really recommend that folks get their tickets in advance, and you can do that on sequoiaparks.org on our website. And it's a really great experience. It takes about 2 hours because you have to hike down to the cave. You do an hour tour, and then you have to hike back up. It's about a 20-story building equivalent. So it's kind of an exercise workout as well as a cave tour at the same time.
Yeah, but when you get in, you get nice and cool.
Exactly.
And then it's downhill, but you got those waterfalls and flame lilies, and it's like a whole different part of the park. It's like completely different, you know?
It's a special, and especially once you're in the cave, like you said, it's 50 degrees year round. So it's like you're going into air conditioning, which feels wonderful. Also, you're entering another world. I mean, the spaces inside there were created over millions of years. And so you're getting to see something that is outside of time and pretty unusual on Earth. The other thing that I just want to share is that we have one new offering this year. In addition to the regular cave tour, which is about an hour long and you're walking through the main developed paths, we have started up the wild cave tours again. And those are special small groups. Only 6 people get to go on them with 2 guides, and you go off trail and you are crawling for about 6 hours in all the parts of the cave that nobody else gets to see because it just hasn't been developed. And so these are tight little spaces, big, beautiful open spaces, underwater lakes. It's just really incredible tours.
My gosh, underwater, because there is like I remember underwater lake when you first get in, even. There's like a lake.
Yeah, there is
right?
a stream that is running through the cave. And that's one of the nice things about Crystal Cave is that it is still living and growing in the sense that water is still actively shaping it, carving out parts, creating stalactites and stalagmites that are still growing.
But this is a very important point because there are a lot of caves across the country, but some of them are dead. Even within our National Park Service, Coronado National Memorial, I went on my belly down through the cave and it was dead. And they're like, it's a dead cave. But I'm like, I just had a hard time believing it. But then when I've been into Crystal Cave, which wasn't what we didn't do a long tour just timing wise, but it's like a night and day experience because a dead cave is like a dead cave. And I think it was just because so many people over the years had been in the cave, even prior to it even being in the Park Service. You know, I don't know how that became a dead cave, but a live cave is something really special to have.
The live cave is by geology, so the water is still moving through it for a variety of reasons, and it's really that water that continues to shape it. So Crystal Cave, you're walking through, occasionally you might feel a little drip on your face, you know, we call it cave kiss, where, you know, water is dropping down from a stalagmite or a stalactite and, you know, gets on you and water is moving through it, and water is a big part of the story.
That's really cool. And of course, now waterfalls are going in May. Right, Holly?
Yep. And thankfully, because of that other snowstorm that we had, we've got some more water to flow down the waterfalls. But yeah, waterfalls are looking gorgeous right now all over the park.
Very cool. That's exciting. And then all the roads in May are open between like going down to Cedar Grove and Kings Canyon. So this is like epic time to go.
Yeah, May is a really great time to come to the park. It definitely is when the kind of busy season starts is Memorial Day weekend, but it's also when that's because a lot of things are opening up is why it's so busy. So a lot of the campgrounds are opening up. Cedar Grove, the road down to Road's End opens up on April 24th. So people will be able to get in there a little bit ahead of time. And then Mineral King Road will be open as well. So people can start going up to Mineral King Valley.
That's cool because we haven't touched on that. Maybe we'll have to do a special show on Mineral King because that's a huge deal. I wanted to go back to Suzanne because she mentioned the shuttle. And I think that's an important thing to let people know where they can get it to go into the park, out of the park. And then there's a shuttle system within the park. So I'm sorry, William, some people may not need your services. But this is a really cool thing. I think, especially if you've driven a long way or you're road tripping, it's nice to, you know, not have to drive. You want to tell us more about that, Suzanne, and where people can get it? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
All right. Yeah, the shuttle is a great opportunity for people that are not comfortable necessarily driving mountain roads, or they just want to be able to take in the scenery and not worry about driving. The Gateway Shuttle picks up at multiple locations in Visalia for the trip into the park. It stops at the Giant Forest Museum, which is kind of the transportation hub, I guess, for the park. And from there, they can get on the internal shuttle to go to all of their spots. But for people staying in the hotels, particularly, that's where the shuttle stops in Visalia are centered around. So you can just walk to the stop. Sometimes they're right in the lobby area of or just outside the lobby of the hotel, but they're clustered near groupings of a hotel. It's very inexpensive way to travel into the park, and you can certainly take pictures and look for bears out in the bushes or whatever as you're taking the drive up. So really a great opportunity for people. It's also, it's not only economical, but it's environmentally beneficial, I guess. Parking can be challenging in peak season in the park. So that's another advantage. You're not wasting a lot of time looking for a parking spot. And plus, of course, the cost of gas right now. So
Yeah, there's another point there. Also, Suzanne, for those exploring around the area, once they've done the parks and then they're going to explore Tulare County, there's also Balch Park and those parks that slowly open up, right? And Kaweah Oaks Preserve, that's another place that people can go. And especially if you have dogs, you can walk your dog there.
There's a lot of outdoor activity for people to enjoy here. The Sequoia Parks Conservancy, no, sorry, the Sequoia Riverlands Trust has a lot of preserves that people can explore. Kaweah Oaks Preserve is one of them. It's just a few minutes from the downtown area, and it's a great spot to get in an early morning hike with your dog or your kids. It's not too difficult for people to navigate. It's all flat. They also will be hosting the Go Native event this May, the 23rd of May, Saturday. It's in conjunction with the Wachumni tribe and other local tribal communities. And they are sharing the culture of their communities with basket weaving demonstrations, with food and some other activities that families can participate in. So that's a really fantastic opportunity to learn more about those active local tribal communities.
Fantastic. And so the other thing we were talking about, Woodlake Botanical Gardens, I really encourage people. It's the roses are everything's blooming. I mean, it is just awesome. And you could see the parks in the background, the backdrop, and there's water, Bravo Lake, and water birds and everything. So we're talking about all the berry tasting festivals, but aren't there? Because I mean, you guys grow like I don't know how many crops. I can't keep up. It's like 200-300. Yeah. Plus there's ranching, like we were talking about with William, right? Ranching and roping and all of that. Then you go around the corner and there's dairy in like Tulare, right? So there's ice cream, basically, is what we're saying. Cheese, ice cream, what we're not going to complain, but there's more berry picking, right? Going on.
Yeah, another, we are a big agricultural area, but there's not a lot of opportunities for people to get out and actually explore the farms that people are growing commercially on, but there are a few opportunities. One of them is at the Big L Ranch. They are a blueberry ranch, and you can do blueberry picking. And throughout the season, they have activities that vary. Sometimes they have music on site and other activities. They're along the river, so they do some kayaking. You can rent kayaks and go along the river, but picking some fresh blueberries is a fantastic little family activity to do. And that's just starting up like the end of this month and into June is really the blueberry season.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
It makes me hungry. Yeah.
I know. Well, farmers market's always a great because you get all of the fresh in-season fruits and vegetables. So that's always a great way to learn about the areas to go to a farmer's market.
Yeah, and you have a lot in Visalia, right? Don't you have two different ones? And that's really, even if you're staying like in a vacation rental, you can,
great way to stock up
food.
your refrigerator, get some things for your picnic up in the park, and just stroll through. It's just a great grab a coffee and kind of stroll through and just see what's in season, what this agricultural powerhouse of Tulare County will grow.
Right on. Now, Daniel, the Sequoia Parks Conservancy, can you give everyone just an overview of what they should call upon the Conservancy in regards to guided hikes and things like that? Because I remember at one point you were doing custom created packages for people. I don't know if you're still doing that.
Yeah, we do a variety of things. Essentially, we do guided hikes for groups. We also do evening astronomy programs. And so if people want to see and learn more about the night sky, we're also doing a lot of work around custom guided trips. So folks will just say, hey, I've got 2 days, show me the best. And we'll work with them to build an itinerary, have a really amazing time. These parks are so big. There's lots of different things to see there. I think the other thing that Conservancy does as well is we operate all the retail stores. So all the proceeds go back to help with the parks. And finally, we do a lot of grant writing and philanthropy to help the parks in a variety of ways.
That's fantastic. What would you say would be a good thing if a family contacts the Conservancy for a program, what would be a good family activity that's kind of easy for the kids?
We love to do our one of our most popular is just a 2-hour guided walk around a meadow. They'll learn so much more about the sequoia ecology and fire and park history, all the animals and critters and trees that they see there, and just answer a lot of questions. Kids come with a lot of great questions, and we love to answer them.
Now, Holly, the Junior Ranger program, we got to bring that up, right? That's something people can go
Yeah, the
do.
Junior Ranger program is something that you can do anytime you visit the parks. Just stop into the visitor center, and there's a little Junior Ranger booklet specialized for each park, actually, that has the program. So Sequoia and Kings has its own special Junior Ranger book, and it's for kids of all ages. Usually, I would say probably like 4 years and older is a really great age to work on it, but there are different activities to do. And then at the end, once you've completed the number of activities for the age range, just come back and find a ranger and they can swear you in as a junior ranger. And it's an oath to protect the park and to be a good environmental steward. So it's really a really cool activity for families to do.
And you get a badge.
Get a badge.
We want badges. We all collect them and do our little passport books and everything. Come on now, we want that. And we want swag, and that's what Sequoia Parks Conservancy does well. We want park swag, you know. So I wanted to bring this up about kids because when you think national parks, it really screams family road trip family, you know, really does. So Suzanne, Visalia has some wonderful family friendly, you know, destinations and museums and things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But something that I'm really excited to maybe mention to families with young children is a new PBS Kids show that's will begin airing in May. It is called Wow's About, and the first episode, the special, was filmed in Sequoia National Park, and it's about these two puppets, like Jim Henson puppets that were made specifically for this that go on a Wow's About in the Sequoia National Park. It centers around two characters, Roxy and Ronald is really interested in getting his Junior Ranger badge. So he wants to check off things on his list, and Roxy is a free-loving character who wants to just explore and see everything. So it's a really fantastic new show. It's produced by the Jim Henson Company and will be airing on PBS Kids. I really want families to see it. It's a darling show with lots of sort of educational things, and it really sort of centers on the benefits of wow and wonder to young children. So look for that on their local channel. It'll start airing nationwide in May.
Yeah, and that goes with isn't Imagine You, the museum? Yeah, because that is kind of a wow place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In the show, Ranger Tina gets to do a little cameo in there, and she gets to swear them in as junior rangers. So it's a great way for kids to learn about a national park and the people they'll meet in a national park and the kinds of things they can do there. And so I think, just generally speaking, families will see the show and they'll want to replicate that same trip that Ronald and Roxy are doing and come and see the parks for themselves. At least I hope that's what they're encouraged to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's definitely park season, so everyone enjoy bird watching, bear watching, deer and their babies. I know there's terms that were, actual names. Flower power is still going, huh?
Yeah, well, definitely as it goes up through the elevation range. So there's still flowers in the foothills right now, and the yuccas are blooming right now. I know this is going to air a little bit later, but the yuccas are in full bloom right now. Yeah. So, and we'll just, as the summer season continues and spring moves up through the mountain, there'll just be more and more flowers. And dogwood season happened up in Lodgepole. So I don't know if there's any still up there right now, but if you didn't make it this year, mark your calendar for next year around this time.
Okay. Yeah. Dogwoods are magic, man.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So cool. There's just so much to see.
Yeah.
Really. All the wildlife and then the scenery. Spring is such a magical time. And next month we'll be in June where summer will really begin. But I think summer gets a little bit warmer down on the floor, right? Down in the towns themselves.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, that's why restaurants and breweries are good. Ice cream shops are good. Museums are good. So lots to experience, everyone. Again, discoverthesequoias.com is the website to go to. Everyone's links are in the episode notes. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Take care, all.
Thank you for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's California Sequoia Country Show. New episodes air every first Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. You can keep up with the show at bigblendradio.com, but also plan your Tulare County escape. Go to discoverthesequoias.com.